to America. Welcome to the Tong, where our loyalty lies only with warrior, and they will scrap only if I give them the order. And you feeling itchy, you got something to say, just know we hop this way. Nobody else is suited for this other than us. I know it's crazy, but we work with it and don't give up. Welcome to the show. If you don't know the name, we call it Hop This Way.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hop This Way show. We've done it. We've made it through an entire season. This is the Hop Way, to steal a phrase from The Mandalorian. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us as you do, as we have taken this journey, this sojourn, if you will, and gone on walkabout and try to just bring to you our thoughts on this great show that we all know and love, based on the writings of Bruce Lee, and that is Warrior. And yes, we are here, season 1 down. What are you thinking? Hey, Matt Chua, Rebecca Nishi, Stephanie Young, and of course, Kung Fu Hustle himself, Frank Zong. How you doing, everyone?
What's going on?
What's up?
Can we talk about before we even go on to everything? What's up, Ron? How the beginning of this show actually came to fruition?
What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, because of you, motherfucker. Because it all started with you. This all started with you. This whole show started with you.
See,
You want to take them through memory lane real quick before we actually get into? Because I feel like with a season 1 recap, we should actually do a season 1 recap of our fucking show. How this all started.
True, very true.
Let's see. It all starts with, and I don't really know who he is because I don't see him post too much, but it starts with the Warrior fan group on Facebook is where it all started. And I believe it's Brian. I don't know his last name. I just know
he doesn't have a last name.
No,
Brian has no last name.
And he spells it correctly as well. It's B. Ryan. So I give him props for that, as my real name's Ryan, for those of you that don't know.
Shout out to Brian.
But yeah, no, we were hanging out on there and always kind of shooting the shit. And I was finding there was a lot of people that were loving the show that wanted to talk about it. And I love to talk, and I love doing these kind of live streams. So I put it out there to the group to see if anyone wanted to join in. I didn't mean for it to be my show or anything like that. This is our show, our Tong. You know, there is no leader of the Tong here. But, we had a great first show. Frank, Matt, you came on, and we had another couple on, and I do this every time we try to mention them. They came on. They were great, though. Husband and wife. And I like Ray and Heather. I would say it is Ray and Heather.
I think you're right.
Yeah, they were fantastic. I would love for them to come back on as well. But we did that first show, did really well. And then we brought on the rest of you guys the following week because they couldn't make it. And I don't know what happened. This is now our new Tong.
I remember seeing a message. Hey, does anyone want to do this? I had no idea what we were doing, and this is me. I'll go ahead and I'll participate. You know, I'll rally. I'll always rally. And next thing you know, oh, we're live. Hi.
And she had no trouble with that camera at all, which was great.
No.
Now, what about you two? Like, what made you hop on when I put it out there in the ether?
Oh, I don't know. You were just talking about a podcast, and at the time, I had a show with another group, and I was like, "Fuck it, I would love to be on a guest on an actual show rather than being the one who's hosting a show." So I came on, and we were talking about Warrior and everything like that, and then for some odd ass reason you allowed me back multiple amount of times, and well, here we are about 10 episodes in, and guest appearances from actual fucking cast members, and and composers and everything else like that. Like, who the fuck would have thought? Not I.
Huge shout out to both, was it Reza and Scott
Yes.
that we had on last week, both
Scott,
the composers. Amazing guys. We're going to be talking more with them again. I'm going to have them on one of my shows very soon as well. And that brings us to the producer of the show, the promoter, the talent agent for this show, if you will, the talent getter. And that is Warrior Max Geek herself, Rebecca Nishi. We are not worthy. We are nothing in this Tong without you. You are the one that reach out. You get us a lot of love from this cast and from and all the fans as well. You're the one that brings us together. As much as people want to heap this on me, it's you who really, you get us the talent, you get us the other fans involved on this as well, and you're putting out so much content. One, just from me, thank you so much for blessing us on this show. And
you're the MVP, low-key MVP.
Yes.
Two, tell me about your experience in how you came on board.
Yeah, so I was on Facebook group and I was with that lack of people to talk about Warrior. So I started to become very active on the group, and I saw your message. I was already in bed, going to sleep because it was and on that time, on that period of time of the year was 2 hours different. So I think was like almost 11 here. And I saw your message. I jumped off the bed, changed my clothes, and got in. And we talked for 2 hours, I remember.
Yeah, that first one.
It was like 1 a.m. here because we started to talk about our experiences as biracial and all these things, and about Warrior, and so it was very great. I'm very grateful that you allowed me to come back all the other times, and you guys to be so good friends, social media friends, always supporting my page and everything. And I couldn't do it if I wasn't here, I mean, I could be Warrior Max Geek, but I couldn't invite anyone if I hadn't a podcast to invite to. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And you said that first episode, the first episode while we were all together, and we went like 2 hours, two hours plus. We got into a lot of deep things about race and about, just about racism as well, and a lot of our different experiences we've had. And that's the one good thing about Warrior, is that it does shine that light on it, and I love that it brings us all to that. I don't want to neglect asking, Mr. Kung Fu Hustle himself, what made you jump on board, Frank? Tell us your little Hop This Way origin story.
With the show itself, it took me a while to jump on, right? And then, and when pandemic hit, I suddenly had more free time, a lot more free time, right? So I decided to finally kind of say, okay, so let's see what this hype is all about for this show that my friends keep talking about. So after I got hooked on the show, and the HBO YouTube channel streamed the full first episode, I posted it in one of the martial arts groups I'm in. And one of the guys in there commented, he's like, oh, by the way, there's this group of Warrior fans. I was like, oh, cool. I'll go to that. Because up to that point, already, one of my friends had already, a few of my friends already gotten tired of me trying to talk to them about it.
Right.
Because like, man, you're really obsessed with the show. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. Because it's got a couple of things that are a couple of things I really enjoy learning about, which is history as it pertains to Asian Americans, especially. And also with martial arts, and this has a good dose of each of those, combined with the backdrop with Bruce Lee's being Bruce Lee's brainchild. So
yes.
So there was a lot to draw me in, and you know, there was Justin Lin directing it. So there were so there was a lot of interesting parts where I thought it would be worth looking at in the beginning, and also just like what keeps me in there. You know, like the people from Banshee working on it.
Right.
A lot, and then one day I saw, when I was in the group, I saw Zeus post the invites. Say, hey, you guys want to discuss episodes? Yeah, like, yeah, sure. I mean, I would probably want to do it anyway. And then I ended up just like enjoying every time we do. It's like now it's like I look forward to the times during the week when we would do it. You know, so and each of you guys brings so much as far as just like talking about Warrior, but just also talk about like current events, different issues. You know, so it's like, you know, Stephanie, you bring the perspective of from where you come from, being biracial, growing up with this very specific upbringing. You know, like the way you keep approaching things with so much like new vision every time. Like being out in Hawaii, you know, Chua, you're there to offer like your humor. Obviously, you made the fucking theme song, you know. So and also creative energy. So it's like your creative energy, and it's just like, man, I could, you know, this is really cool. This is a guy I really enjoy hanging out with. You know, it's like Rebecca, you're talking about like just having the persistent passion for a show like beyond what just as a TV show, you know, and also tuning in with the second language, which is amazing also. You know, from Brazil and you know, on a late schedule, and showing the passion you have for the show, contacting these people. It's like I wouldn't be able to do that. You know, I'd be too shy to do something like that. And just like helping us talk to like, you know, Rich Ching and the lady who plays Lucy O'Hara. Now I'm embarrassed, but you know, it's like the musicians, and Zeus, you know, you be the man behind the production, like, you know, being the one to initiate everything, just being so open minded to hear so many different perspectives on a show like this and on what it connects to. So you know, so it's like it's cool. It's a great part of my week now.
Oh man!
Wow, what a great rundown!
Now.
I mean,
we're all fucking friends. Yeah.
I know.
It's a family. I feel all warm on the inside.
Hashtag one family.
Oh.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know if we were doing gang symbols. I'm sorry.
No, I'm actually just playing tic-tac-toe. Let's go.
Go ahead, throw it up there. Just steal a line from Robert Downey Jr. Feel free to throw it up.
Listen, I just have to add, you guys just egg me on and then just make me feel like, okay, wait a minute, I really may be a dangerous person, and it's all your fault. It's all your fault. Yes.
Yeah, you're dangerous.
Don't teach Stephanie any other moves. Don't teach her any other kicks.
We're trying not to.
Don't give her
Don't give her weapons. Do not give her weapon training.
Oh my
God. Is what I think.
She uses weapons to hold her hair up, for fucking Christ's sake. Like,
she's gonna be the one that sets off the metal detector repeatedly, and they'll be like,
yeah,
what? Okay.
She's like, oh shit! All
right. See, you gotta watch Rebecca. She probably has one right up in her hair right now.
It's just a pencil.
Pencil.
See?
Yeah, but you know what? That's
John
what
Wick could do with a pencil? Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? That's the same bullshit John Wick would say. It's just...
See?
Pencil, Baba Yaga. Wow, yes, we are here talking about Warrior. I promise you. I would love to see Keanu Reeves on an episode of Warrior.
Does he get to make like a slow motion walking entrance with sail in the background?
He better.
Needs to.
Now, let me ask you this. As I would say, the highest ranking martial artist in the group here, because I know Rebecca partakes as well. And Steph, I think you're learning. And
I'm just learning.
I know you're a video game martial artist. What do you think of Keanu's?
I thought he was just doing this.
Oh, yeah. I lose to everybody there. That was me.
Yeah, you froze.
Yeah, that was you.
Me who froze.
Dead ass. I thought you were like, I literally thought you were like, "Yo, what about Keanu Reeves?"
What did you think of his kung fu? What did you think of his kung fu? I'm sorry. I just noticed I'm not on my proper network here. That's why. But Frank, what did you think of his kung fu?
It was all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's like
All right.
well, because the way I look at it too is like for someone who's
fuck you, Tua.
I'm sorry. I just think it was
I'm sorry, Frank. I didn't mean
it was perfect
jump all over
timing.
you.
I really did think you were actually thinking.
I dead ass thought you were just like, "What do you think about Keanu Reeves?" And you dead ass just held that pose, and I was like, is he supposed to answer that? What are you doing? And I didn't realize that you started laughing.
No, I'm sorry, Frank. Please go ahead. I just damn it.
Okay. So what I think of Keanu Reeves?
You bastard.
It's okay. Like when I look at something like that, it's like it's good for someone who learned it later on in life and practiced it for a specific project. You know, so even though later on I learned he's actually pretty passionate about everything he delves into. Like you see his training for John Wick, so I respect him a lot. But as far as like his actual ability, watching him from the Matrix up through now, I've only seen the first John Wick, to be fair. But he's okay. He's good for someone who's done the amount that he has, at the point in his life. Because like judging it against something like the Shaw Brothers or like Jackie Chan's stunt crew from the 80s is just not fair, right? Someone like Jet Li, where people grow up doing it, they do it professionally. They film like 15-hour days with just fight scenes. It's just a different level. So nowadays you get the Tony Jaa and the Joe Taslams and the people he worked with on the Rays. Like it's two different levels. It's just like they can appear in the same show. It's like you see like. Like the Irish cast, the people who play the cast that plays the Irish versus like some of the people on the Indonesian stunt team or whatever the stunt team was that Brett Chan was working with. So it's just like you can tell it's just like different levels of ability, Sure. But I would say I respect him a lot just because he put in the time for what he needed. I think he probably went above and beyond for that role. For the roles that he's done that require a lot of action now. So,
because I think he started learning kung fu for the Matrix movies.
Okay.
And I think he's gone on. Like, I'm not positive, but I believe
I've heard he's
got a black belt since then.
I've heard he's continuing. Like, I heard he's actually pretty dedicated now. I don't know if it was BJJ or something else or JKD, because quite a few of them have picked it up. Well, I know one other one at least, Jason Scott Lee. He played Bruce Lee in the 1993 movie, and he hadn't had martial arts training before that, and he was already in his his late 20s. But after that, he loved it, and he kept going, and he's still very, very, very fit in his 50s. So and very, very good, very, very solidly skilled. So yeah.
Listen, if I was able to, I would try and do the Rebecca and get Jason Scott Lee to just encourage him to go ahead and be on Warrior. He lives on the big island of Hawaii.
He could be.
Didn't we hear that? Didn't they say he was going to be in season 3? Wasn't there a rumor?
What?
No, it's one of those fantasy bookings where they would like him to be.
All right, I thought I had read that.
But I did meet him. I told you guys that, right? I met him once.
That's
I think you did. I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he lives off the grid, so he basically does out in Hawaii what I want to do.
That's what I heard. I heard he grows his own food, like he's got well water, and he's like living the life, eating fresh food.
Yep.
Nice. That's the way to do it. I want to ask you about one more movie, if anyone's seen it, because I just watched this a few weeks ago. I really liked it. I like fun, lighthearted kind of movies. This was kind of along that lines. Has anyone seen this?
No, but I do want to see that.
I've seen this, but I've seen it, but I haven't seen it.
None of those guys look familiar. I don't know.
It's pretty funny, honestly.
And Perry's posted about it a couple times, I think, right?
Yeah, Perry posted about it, and I was surprised he had seen it.
I think I recognize that guy on the left, the guy on the far left. That might be Master Ken. I mean, he's not really a master, but he has this like martial arts parody channel, and he'll do stuff like these are the top 5 reasons why Taekwondo is bullshit. He actually sounds like that, like, and then he does like a pretend style called a Meridote, and he'll just act like one of those like over the top like dojo owners that says that their style is the best, but he's spoofing that.
Gotcha.
That looks like him, but no one else looks familiar in that thing.
I don't know. I'm looking for it right now. And it's funny, I can't actually find it on.
That's frozen.
Am I frozen again?
No.
Oh, I'm like looking for shit. I'm like, am I frozen again? If you get a chance, I just say watch it, just because it is fun. But there's a lot of. I'm just kidding. There's a lot of really good kung fu in this movie. So, yeah, check it out if you get a chance to. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, and I wanted to say something because about what you were saying about Keanu Reeves. Although sometimes we see someone delivering some action scene, and you think it's not too good, actually it's very hard to do those kind of things. When you are learning, you look at your teacher demonstrating something and you think, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna repeat that, and your body doesn't follow
won't cooperate.
Yeah, it's not like you imagine yourself doing something, and when you're going to do it, it's completely different. So when someone is like doing a fight scene for real, you have to respect that, because it's hard. The same as acting, I can say is Matt can validate what I'm going to say, because sometimes you look someone like not very good actor, not very good actress, but acting is very hard. If you want to try, do a sad face, make like anxious face. It's very hard.
Cry on demand.
For me, I would do the same face for everything. So
True. Well, hey, let's get into this final episode of season 1. If you're going to bow low. Dang. The line that is delivered to us from Chow in this episode. That's one thing I really do love about these shows as well. Each episode is titled after an iconic line from that episode. So, and this was definitely an iconic line. Lots of iconicness in this last episode, if you will. So we left off in the last episode. Lee has his ass handed to him from my boy here. Now, we start off this episode, of course, it's Bill, and he's looking over Lee, and he's just wrought with guilt. We're seeing this a little bit later once Lee's actually woken up. But before this happens, Bill's wife's there with him, and just like, yo, there's nothing you could do. Come home. And really, and she's trying to tell him this wasn't his fault. And he knows this was definitely his fault. He still got that. It's a mahjong piece, I think, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he still got that with him, and he still got a lot of hate and stuff. So at this point, are you feeling any sympathy at all for Bill? Are you starting to? Because I know I ask you guys this almost every single episode, but when we see Bill actually care for his partner here, is it weakening at all who he is as a person to any of you? So I'm going to start with you, Steph, because I see that smile on your face.
Oh, I love him. I love Bill. I mean, it's that constant battle. That, he's dirty. He's now answering to 3 different factions. He's a mess, but you love him because he's a teddy bear, and that he still has the kind heart. He just gets in over his head.
He's a tad bad.
Well, I don't know if his old buddy that was the former bill collector would say the same thing, because that was the most gruesome that we've seen. So
true.
So
that was
maybe he went from teddy bear to grizzly bear.
Yes, that's true. But it's haunting him. See, it's haunting him.
That's true.
Haunting him.
I can't forget one thing that he told Officer Lee once, that Chinatown can you can die, or Chinatown can kill you in 100 different ways. Mm-hmm. So it's hardworking. I mean, as I said before, at home, he's one person. He's a loving father. He's a loving husband. Mm-hmm. At work, he's a very stressed person. He's different, like two bills.
For sure. Yeah, he's definitely feeling the weight of the world and trying to balance that. Like you said, the two different worlds, like playing it all off at home, like there's nothing wrong in front of his wife and kids. But at work, he's trying to be this tough ass. And even if you want to break it down a third way, and then he's like, you see him in the office crumbling, right? And crying and, trying to keep that door shut because just the weight of the world is so much on him. I mean, he's a complicated character. He really is, because he does so many stupid things, like his gambling addiction, and then he's a racist as well, and it looks like he's trying to evolve out of that as well and get away from it. But is he? Like every time he does something nice, he does something almost twice as stupid. Like every step forward is two steps back with this guy. But I feel like I love to hate his character, honestly. What about you, Chua?
I think in this particular season all of them, every character on here has a lot of complexity to them. But I think Bill's in season 1, I think, is the one that you can drastically see go from and hit all these different ends of the spectrum, where compared to the other characters, it's very subtle, different changes, and they're pretty gradual. Here, you get smacked in the face with fucking something different with Bill almost every episode.
Exactly.
You do.
It's actually... He gets a lot of screen time. He's got to be one of the top 4 characters, I would say, on the call sheet.
Probably, yeah. And the dude really conveys his emotions fucking fantastically. Just to have that much complexity that you got to switch on a dime every episode. I mean, gradually all the behind the scenes work, it doesn't, it takes months and days to finally capture all of that stuff, but it's still it's got to be fucking taxing for him to continually go through these evolving things as a character. And it's just Jesus Christ, this guy's good. This guy is good.
This guy's good, but he's going through the shit.
There's one thing that just caught.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steph.
I just think there's one thing that just came to my mind. It's he's always on that version. You can see that he, when push comes to shove, he's a survivor. Okay. He's a survivor. And there's always that moment where he could walk right by the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. You saw it, in the fight scene where, he wasn't going to step in until, Penny screamed and so on. So he could walk right by the crap that's going on and actually look the other way, but he's also capable of doing the right thing. It's that one tiny switch of, I'm going to have blinders on. Oh, okay. I got to deal with it.
Yeah,
it's that constant battle. That comes up how many times?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What about you, Frank?
I was just saying, what Stephanie was saying. I think I'm wondering if he needs to be kind of led into it. He needs someone else to spark him. He's not going to do it as easily on his own. He's a character that easily gets misled. He doesn't know how to kick his gambling habit. He doesn't confide in anyone about the gambling habit. even though his wife and kids are going to be directly impacted and with a lot of dangerous consequences, So, and yeah, it's like what you guys helped me know is this season too. Also, when we're talking about the show, is I pay more attention when I go back and rewatch. I pay attention to the facial expressions without any words spoken.
Right.
Yes.
Which is to me, that's the truest test of an actor. Because for me, I'm a theater guy. I grew up doing theater my entire life. I went to college for theater. Like, to me, like acting, like if you can get lost in acting, like that's the best thing in the world. And to find those little moments in between when people are actually speaking, that's where the real acting is. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Frank.
No, that's cool to hear. I didn't know you were into that. I didn't know you were actually in it for that long. So,
yeah, man.
It's cool because it helps me when I go back now and I watch. It helps me appreciate all the main cast again. It also helps me appreciate like how the writers timed everything to kind of build up emotion or like diffuse emotion when they wanted it. So, and yeah, with Bill, I guess it's another testament to Kieran Pugh who can act his ass off on this one. Right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like the way he's able to show the complexities and also like the turmoil as he struggles in between those and like with those nonverbal shots where there's a lot of time with him just kind of like in the shot by himself, where like him and Lee's not away, so Lee's not really there, Right. So and also like the layers of complexities for the character. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on the actual. I don't know if complexity is the right word so much as just like he kind of does what's convenient, and what's convenient ends up. It can have mixed results because the circumstances are always changing.
Right.
Like Stephanie was saying, it's like, what if Penny hadn't screamed? What if hadn't gone? Oh, he's gonna break his neck! Like, what if they just said nothing? Would he have fired that shot? So and caused everything that let Assam survive.
Yeah.
If Assam hadn't destroyed those guys that he put in the jail cell, would he have even tried to help him later? So.
Well, exactly. Like when he let him out of the jailhouse.
Yeah.
Back door after he'd already set him up.
Yeah, and that gave him a certain and also the fact that he spoke English, you could tell Bill felt a different way about Assam after that. It's like he felt he was more of a human, and maybe that's what also prompted him to want to shoot the shot to help save him. And also he put a little money on him earlier.
That's right, he did.
It's like it was like, but it didn't seem like. I mean, like the way the actor pulled it off was like, it didn't seem like he was just like betting on a racehorse. It's like, oh, that's my dude. I'm gonna, to a certain degree, oh, that's my dude. Oh, yeah, I wanted to win.
He was putting his money on Tyson.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And then Tyson went up against Buster Douglas.
Pretty much.
Although we can't call Joe Taslim Buster Douglas.
Skill wise.
Yeah, that's not fair to Joe. That's not fair at all. So we get that out of Bill. We see him there. We see Lee wake up, as we said. This was a big moment there too, and Lee trying to kind of figure out why he just got his ass handed to him, and Bill being Bill, not telling him really, giving him half truths as he seems to do with everybody in his life, and that kind of gets more into Bill's character, where he almost just. To me, he's almost a cockroach, I guess. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. That could be a nice way. Really, though, but Bill just says shit to survive. And he's a survivor. Like, that's it, He adapts to the situation, and he'll give you the half-truths. And, when all the dust settles and all the other bodies have hit the floor, you look around, and there's Bill still, sneaking away. But, I mean, maybe that's just me.
That's why the police department needs him, because he's consistent.
Yeah, and he's easily controlled. And that's nothing against you, Kieran. That's just how great you are, sir. Next up after that, though, we get the little meeting between Mai Ling and the Feng Zi. I always say that improperly. But so we find out this part. Mai Ling's trying to flex her muscles. And she finds out that She's being outgunned here. So, who wants to take this one? What do you think when you see this scene going on here? Did Mai Ling ever have a chance in this?
The Feng Hai are like the honey badgers, and they don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. The Feng Hai does whatever the hell they want. They don't care.
This is like,
look at that.
That's hardcore facts.
And notice how Joe Taslim, he had that look on his face ready to dismiss, just dismiss him, like, go ahead, go. Yeah, and then he said, you want to come outside? You want to come outside?
Yeah, man. It was a pretty badass scene. I mean, no, for overall as an episode goes, we had some big action in this, but it was a kind of a slow episode, I would think. Now that's not taken away from the episode at all. I'm just saying in comparison to the season overall. I mean, we get a great fight scene in the factory, which we'll talk about a little bit, because we see at the opening of this episode the two black gentlemen enter the Banshee bar, try to get a drink, and the bartender ain't having it. He's like, get the fuck out of here, get the step in. And that's where Larry comes out and like, these are men, treat them like men, And he buys them their drinks, and they're like, thanks. He's like, don't thank me. Have your drink and get the fuck out. You guys should know better than this. Know where you are. After that, though, Larry turns around and he sees one of his boys there, and he's like, why aren't you at the factory working? And he's like, I think you know why. And then that's when our boy Dean heads on down to go visit the Mercer factory. And he goes and talks with Mercer. And I was surprised Mercer actually stands his ground a bit here. Their first opening salvo. He's like, what do you want me to do? Like, the mayor's twisting my arm. They're not giving me any choices. Like, I have to hire cheaper labor. And we know going into this isn't going to go over well. Did this episode go too far with this one? Or was this just showing us exactly what we needed to see with Leary's character?
I think this is pretty on par for him.
Yeah.
This is on brand for Leary.
On brand for Leary and on brand for the character who may have the person in history who may have inspired him. So Dennis, I mean, like with Dylan Leary being possibly inspired by Dennis Kearney, right? Like, Dennis Kearney was known at the time for advocating violence, and a lot of people actually shunned him for that. So I'm sure he went to extreme lengths that people could probably find instance of, So I believe he did take part in riots. I'll have to check in, but he did incite a lot, and he probably did incite that energy. Like when he would always end his speech with "The Chinese must go." Like that was one of the speeches he was actually famous for.
Right.
So,
I mean, a scary dude, intimidating his own people, I guess, at this point, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And just honestly, just being your basic mafia boss type guy, running a protection racket, right?
Cops are scared of him.
Yeah, well, the cops are scared of him. The only person that doesn't seem to be scared of him that we see in this episode is Buckley. But we find Buckley stands up to him and talks. Yeah, he's like, you can't do shit to me. He's like, you might stab me, but that's not going to do shit. And Leary leaves, and then he does puke all over himself right afterwards.
I did like that line that Buckley gave him, though. He was like, trust me, Mr. Larry, you have not met men like me. And I was like, oh, what's going on with this guy? So.
Right. Which, because we already knew Buckley was a bit of a sicko, but it's next season, right, where we find out, or what was this season we found out with the amputee?
Next season,
right.
But we do know that he's in the molasses trade.
Yes, molasses.
Please stop.
Between him
so it's just the usual. It shows the usual. It shows how the politicians are, moving the chess pieces, and Larry falls right into their hands, and he, that's the beginning of, unions. You see that he's collecting dues. You said it. Everybody's afraid of him, even his own people, and that's exactly what the politicians wanted. They wanted blood in the streets. Buckley wants blood in the streets.
Yeah.
So Leary's the perfect, little match. You know?
Exactly. Now let's talk a little bit. One of the most disturbing things about this episode was seeing the work life that these Chinese workers had to do that were working there. And I mean, it wasn't even at the factory. I'm sorry. This was right beforehand. And this was before Chow brings Assam over to the factory. And just seeing the shit that they were doing, working on those, what was it, in the mines there?
Probably.
With him, and he was sharing the cot with the other, Chinese guy who ends up dying.
Quarters, yeah. Like they had to share beds at different times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was pretty historically accurate right there. I love it.
And we even see young June come up to him and tell him, "Hey, man, we'll take you back after this." And this is after his bedmate dies, and
that was rough. That was kind of rough to watch, especially after he told. I forgot what his roommate's name was, but when he was telling that story when he came over and he tried to get money so that way he could.
For his family.
I don't know if it was bring him over or come back or go back over. I don't know which one of the two it was, but I was like, ugh. And then like you could tell like every time they showed him, he got fucking worse, and I was like, man, this is gonna hurt. And then he carried him out. I'm just like, motherfucker, dude. That did it right there.
That was rough.
Yeah. Also, just Assam, you know, he's talking to his bedmate, you know, that is thinking about his, burial. You know, he's not going to be able to be at peace. Okay. Right. And he's, why has he been doing this? He's been doing this for his family. And then for Assam to turn around and reveal he let his family down. That was a pretty, humbling moment for Assam. We've seen him beat down, but when have we really seen him humble himself like that about the family?
Right.
He was always like, the shit starter brother.
And this is just coming off of losing that big fight for the Hopway as well, and being tossed out. So yeah, I'm sure he had all the emotions going through him right there. This was a rough, and I was thinking about this had to have been a couple months at least, because for him to be healed up that much by the time that he finally did decide to go with Chow after he walked out with the body there.
Yeah.
Assam was having self-pity. He was accepting defeat. He was pity of himself, like punishing himself, I think, working on that, and of course he was hurted by being expelled from Hopway after have fight for them, but actually I think he was like deprecating.
Deprecating.
Yeah.
Yes, like I deserve this. I have to work on this shit here.
Yeah, he definitely lost a lot of his mojo, a lot of his confidence, if you will. He didn't seem to really get it back until Leary and his boys went back to the factory looking for blood, basically. And that is where we see Assam come back to being Assam.
Yeah.
Assam brought the fucking noise. He brought hands to everybody in that factory. One of the best. This is the first time we get to see him and Leary actually start to go at it after Assam takes out a shit ton of the Irish there. The end comes down to him and O'Leary, which sadly we don't get a lot of. A couple of punches landed for both sides, and then the cops show up and the two kind of split their ways here. Frank, I want to ask you about this fight scene in particular. One, obviously, it's a little disappointing because we didn't get to see the full extent of it at this point. But when you were watching this the first time, what did you think? Because we talked about this a little bit before the show started. What did you think of this overall fight as far as Andrew Koji's martial arts skills as progressing from episode 1 until episode 10 here.
That part, well, actually, Andrew Koji impressed me a lot with what he did right before that. You know, with his character being able to fight against all those groups of people surrounding, all those groups of Irish surrounding him.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it showed, the parts that you could obviously tell it was him. It showed a lot of improvement in just that athletic ability, his snap, how clean the movements were. So definitely credit him for training that hard. Definitely credit Brett Chan for helping him get to that level. When the part where Dean Jagger came in, you see him versus Leary. Honestly, my thought after that whole thing ended was like, man, Hassan better do some power training for keep those shots. So that's what but it looked convincing. Like it looked like, okay, this is the smaller, quicker guy versus the bigger, brawnier guy who doesn't feel too much pain. Like, so and he's got some of the quote unquote dirtier skills. I think it's always interesting to see how they portray the scenes between different ethnicities in this show, right? Because it's like
he's got the bare knuckle brawler.
Yeah. Like they're supposed to be the bigger, brawnier, more brute force guys versus the Tong guys who are supposed to be like the more finesse, fast, quick, agile martial artists. So it's interesting to see how they kind of played that, but it's also interesting to see how they kind of like were able to insert brutality in each of those areas. So to like see those. This is the first time like I think we've actually seen that clash in the show. I think up until this point we hadn't really had an Irish versus Chinese in any way,
right.
or Chinese versus anyone but another Tong, So it was interesting to watch. It was really interesting. Well, I guess Lee versus the Feng Hai sort of.
Right, but not really.
Yeah, not really. And Lee's not on that side anyway. But it was this is the first time we really saw that. So I thought they played it off really well, and I was actually pretty impressed. This was the first time I also got impressed by Dean Jagger's athletic ability, because before that we couldn't really see it. Like we couldn't really see it, not with the bare knuckle fist fight. It doesn't require a lot of jumping or moving around in big motions. So no, I enjoyed it. It was a good scene, good culmination, and to leave us kind of in suspense for going, oh, they're going to meet again, and how's that going to go? So.
And I do like how smart of a fighter they, and I guess this is on Brett Chan for the stunt coordinating, but I love how Dean Jagger takes a jab and just drops the head.
Oh, that's
an old school.
Yeah, they used to. I remember actually my boxing coach used to warn me about guys like that. Like they'll bop their forehead into your fist on purpose.
So you can break your fist.
Yeah. Apparently that's from what I understand, he said that's like an old school like East
Dirty
Coast
boxing
thing that those started there. So
I'm taking notes.
No, please don't.
We weren't supposed to tell Steph any of this.
It's like old school like Philly boxers, but
and this whole fight scene has lots of Bruce Lee homages.
Mm-hmm.
That's
for sure.
Fist of Fury, when lots of guys surround him and he does exactly this, like and everyone stops. It's like the scene on the dojo. And there's a homage to Enter the Dragon when he flips over.
Oh, right, fighting Dean.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
I rewound that a few times.
Yeah, he catches his foot and he does a flip over. But that's actually, he tries to punch him and then Dean drops his head, almost breaks his own knuckles, and then he does the flip kick, which is just awesome to watch. And again, now is that Koji doing that, or is that Koji stunt double, you think? I mean, that's an old school 80s hip hop breakdancing move,
Steph, you land on your back. Yes,
I think
that's some kid and play shit right there.
Stunt. I think this part is the stunt, because they film from far. Bruce Lee as well couldn't do this. He is the only part that he needed a stunt.
Yeah, his back was hurt. I think that scene also in Enter the Dragon, when he had his scene with Sammo Hung and the monks raised their hands and he did a
Oh.
His back. He remember there was that incident where he hurt his back really badly a couple of years before that.
Yeah.
He recovered enough to be able to do martial arts, but I guess he never recovered enough to be able to do that. Or I don't know if he could ever do that before. I don't know if he ever had like gymnastics training, but that was a stunt double.
Yeah, he didn't have that training that the actors used to do on China. They used to practice this kind of things.
Acrobat.
So Bruce Lee didn't have this kind of training.
That makes sense.
He didn't need it.
He didn't need it.
He didn't need it.
He didn't need it.
Just flowering, as he liked to say, just flowering.
Mm-hmm.
So, so as we said, this fight basically gets busted up by the police. Assam goes one way, Larry goes the other. They both give them the obligatory "see you next time," look, and they go on their way. And then one of the happiest things happens, at least for me. The end of this episode, we see Assam suiting up
Yes.
to the George Baker Symphony classic "Little Green Bag." We still don't know who does the Asian rap over top of it. We'd love to know, but yeah, this is such a great out scene. I honestly, like, to me, that's just pure iconic and a great song to go out with.
Just the swagger is just perfect.
It's all swag.
That's how I love it.
We definitely need to get the suits for next season, though. I'm just saying. So we need to get a budget. So we'll get ourselves so we have a producer who gets us guests and stuff. Now we get a producer who does all the stuff I'm doing on the side here, so I could just concentrate on being with you guys. And then we're gonna spend some more money and get some sponsors in here, and we all get ourselves some nice Armanis.
Can he get us these suits?
I mean, I think any suits you can make, right? If it's been made in TV or a movie, it can be made in real life.
I mean, is there anything unique to it other than the red thing?
No, it's just a black suit and those collarless white tie or white shirts.
I mean, there you go.
It looks like, yeah.
See,
And Bolo was the only one that was allowed to dress different, but I think that's because he was the second.
Yeah, because everybody else has as you can see, you got the black jacket, the black vest,
well, they
black
got
pants,
as arms for legs. That's what they got to show in that one.
Fair. Like legit. So,
but see, Rebecca and I would have to have red bottoms.
well, speaking of red bottoms, this makes sense. I promise. For fellow comic book fans like myself and Matt, there are various Superman out there. There are numerous black Superman. Obviously, there's a lot of white Superman. There is a Chinese Superman as well. And if they ever make that movie and they don't have Rich Ting play him,
oh my God.
Like I am one of the most. I am telling you, I am the straightest man on the planet. But that is the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm sorry, Rick, I don't mean to make things weird, but like, goddamn, dude, put a shirt on when you're like, come on, like,
no, because that whole the ab video.
If I was still married and my wife cheated on me with Rich, I would high five her.
You say, I understand.
Yeah, I get it. I'd be like, I get it.
Thanks for fucking my guest.
That also frees me up for Jessica Alba. I'm just saying. That just got away from us.
What is happening today?
What just happened? It is season. It is season finale.
When I go to eat some soup, some chocolate or something like that, I just remember of Rich Ting's abs.
Yes.
No, I think I'm not gonna eat it.
Yo, what the fuck is happening?
It's become the Rich Ting appreciation show.
Where is he? Get this man on here right now.
Yeah,
But if you
it's his fault.
Take your shirt off, we can talk about your abs as well.
Nah, pass.
I don't even have the picture anymore. Oh man!
Oh, thank God.
Oh, you lost it.
I had it. Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank God. No.
Well, so that was a wrap on that that episode and on season 1. Let's talk about takeaways from season 1 before we get out of here. And I'm going to do the round table here. I'll start with you, Steph. What was your favorite moment from season 1?
Toy. When she kills the guy who, tried to cheat her, the guy who was selling his land. She's just badass. She's badass. That pretty much, showed how brutal she could really be. I mean, we get hints of it. Yeah, she's badass.
Yeah.
She's my heroine. Yeah, my idol.
Yeah, she put that guy's guts all over his lap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a little messy. That's definitely one that sticks out in everyone's memory, I'm sure. Let's go up next to the Kung Fu Hustle himself, Frank Zhang. What do you got? What's your favorite moment from this season?
It was the context surrounding it. But that moment where Chow was giving a speech to Assam, it's like there was so much in there. Like and Hong Lee's such a masterful actor, like so many of them are, right? And he kind of really draws you into the story, talking about the story within the story about how he was a slave in Cuba, and it actually made me go, wait, there were Chinese laborers in Cuba.
Yep.
I guess shouldn't surprise me because they were in the Caribbean. But how he was a slave and how I later learned that there was a slave trade of Chinese slaves in that area at that time. And my cat.
I didn't like the story.
It really was. Yeah, she's looking at it like, what is that? It's your fault. But yeah, so what was that? Oh, but because and what he said, a couple of these was like, I wasn't a slave, right? And then he said, warriors have two options or have two paths: get killed or get better. And that was probably that. I think that maybe what started Snappy and Sam out of his funk, on top of his friend dying. When his friend said, in that moment in the coolie setting, with the friend saying like, ghost of 1,000 coolies will haunt this place. Well, it's a lot more than 1,000, really. But that's like that whole culmination up toward I can't remember if this speech was before or after he found his friend dead, but like those two moments together with this being the more, I guess, directly memorable one because of the speech and so much being in what he said. Like he didn't say a lot of words, but he conveyed a whole lot. So.
Right.
Well, you also mentioned it earlier, Frank, when he said that the difference was he knew he wasn't a slave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fucking slave.
Yeah.
Yep. And that is just what sets Chow apart too. But that message to Assam, that's the little fire that Assam needed.
I love how Chow establishes with every single side, I'm my own fucking man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He tells the cops that. He tells Mai Ling that. He tells fucking Assam and Young Jun that. He don't give a fuck. He is
his dialogue.
Survive.
Loyalty can't be bought. Mm-mm.
Yeah. What's that, Frank?
I'd say he's able to play every side without being a traitor to any side. It's like that's a lot, So it's like
that's a skill.
Yeah,
man. For sure. Rebecca, what was your favorite moment from this season?
The very first scene in the first episode when Assam leaves the boat, and confront those guards, because it shows the Assam personality and how the show will be. How the humor, the sense of humor, and the fight scenes, the Bruce Lee homages, it's all on that scene.
Such a good scene too, and just even when he's talking to, like, leading up to that scene, when he's in line and the other guy coming off the boat drops his food and tries or gets it knocked out of his hands and he tries to eat it. And Assam that's the first time we see Assam. He's like, Kix's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not a dog. You're better than this. Like, right away, you know, this is a man of morals, which I think sets the stage right away.
And pride.
Yeah, a man of pride. Chua.
Yes.
What you got, brother? What's your favorite moment from season 1?
It was a very simple, very subtle, but God damn it, did it really set the tone, at least for me, and it really caught my attention. There was a lot of great moments in season 1, but the best one was during the dialogue that Chow had with the Hopway when he was trying to sell off Assam, was when he was speaking Chinese, and then just that camera pan over, and it immediately transitioned seamlessly into English, and I was like, oh, this is what the fuck we're doing. This is how we're establishing the dialogue. Oh my God.
I need every single show to do it this way from now on.
I just got chills because
Russian,
it really
Finnish, German, fucking Spanish, whatever it is, make it like this. Like, oh my God.
It was crazy. It was the most subtlest thing. Like, I don't know if it was because like I'm in this realm where I appreciated it more, or I don't know what the fuck it was, but just a fucking camera pan. And it actually used fucking Chow as like the fade point here, and then it went into like English and shit. I was like, I don't know why that caught me so fucking good, but I was like,
are you kidding? I have a couple of friends, Matt, who've said the same thing to me. Definitely, like that stood out to them. So it is noticeable. It is, and it's so eerie. It's like even when they do that, and then you know some of the same characters, or like Atoy and Chow are able to flip to, you know, speaking English with that accent. It's again all English. Oh, between those two, I love it. I love it.
I think
go ahead, Frank.
Oh, sorry. I was saying I think one of the reasons that it catches people is one, the sound effect is really cool. Right? So, like, hearing something, seeing something, and the way they pan in that circle. But I think on the other thing, on a deeper level, it's like it pays respect to that language change.
Yeah, man.
Like, in a way that I don't think has really, maybe it has been done before, but you know, at least not very often. You know, because whenever, I think we talked about it before, it's like whenever I watch something where it's for an English-speaking audience, but doesn't have English-speaking characters in it, it's always clumsily handled. You know, it's like somehow they're all in 500 BC China, but they're all speaking English with the broken accent.
Yeah.
It's like, how could this happen? But you know, of course, you got to have the English speaking, because I'm sure the actors are more comfortable that way for a Western audience. Yeah. So I could understand why it would be in English, but like the way they handled that transition, like Matt said, it was
respect.
Very smooth. Yeah, and to me, it does show a lot of respect to that. The fact that you are at least acknowledging, okay, you're dealing with the different people that maybe aren't used to what you're seeing. You know, so maybe you're not used to seeing that. You know, and I think the way they set that up, it made the accent switch later on seem more. It didn't feel like a downgrade to the character as much, you know. Like the broken English, it's like it doesn't sound like a downgrade. I think because it's already been kind of supported by that whoosh, you know, like when it transitioned. So
it was such a beautifully handled transition and appreciation of dialogue, for the fact that they at least what most of the audience was supposed to understand was that they're speaking in their native language. So to them, it's what American English sounds to us. And it was just like fucking gorgeous just how that was. So then for them speaking English in whatever they could, that broken English, it was like it didn't hinder any of the characters at all. So it's just like, this is the amount of English that they actually know, and or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
But it never downgraded any of the characters at all. But oh my god, it's just so fucking crazy how they did it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it was so simple.
I wonder whose idea that was. I wonder if that was a JT idea or if someone came to him with that idea. Because when we talk to the actors and when we've watched interviews with the actors on other platforms, they all say how receptive JT is as a showrunner to their idea. So I wonder if that was something that someone brought to him or if it was something he came up with on his own. But
also, they say he is pretty brilliant, and all the jokes like nicknames like the ducks or onions, it's all him.
Yeah,
I love it.
So those weren't real slurs or anything before?
Never heard of them. I
never. Yeah, because that's what I went looking all that shit up, and I'm like, what the hell is this onion shit?
It's part of my vocabulary now.
I'm an itchy onion.
Now.
Well, it's it's there now. It's in my lexicon.
I'm an itchy onion.
Now, I guess I'll finish up with mine. My favorite moment of the season was the Assam fight with Bolo, losing our buddy Rich Tang. I'm having like a moment with Rich now. I'm thinking I need to go see my therapist. But no, this fight scene was amazing between Rich, obviously Andrew, and Diane. The three of them put on an epic show, and just what a way for Bolo to go out. Sad to see him go, but he definitely went out like a warrior. So to me, that was really, really huge. However, that was my favorite moment from season 1 of Warrior. My favorite moment that took place during season 1 of the Hop This Way show was this.
Our show Warrior has the best fans. You guys have shown us so much love and support. Now we have something to share with you.
Against all odds, we are back. Come and find me. Thanks to you, we're back. We're back.
We're back.
But we're being cool about it. So, we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Season 3.
Back.
Back. Back.
We are back.
And we are back.
We're back.
We're back.
Warriors back on HBO Max. Let's go!
Definitely the best moment of our first season here was finding out that we're going to get season 3 there.
Wait, I just realized something. Just like season 1, we also had a bottle episode, and that was that.
What was our bottle episode?
Our bottle episode was the announcement of season 3.
That's right. I mean,
so we actually just like fucking the show that we talk about. We too had unscripted our own fucking bottle episode.
Well, we're gonna have to come hard for our bottle episode next season then.
I mean, we already have some stuff ready for our season 2 release.
Yo, coming. Wait to see it. You guys like the sound of the new intro. Wait till you actually see the footage that will be put up with it once it all comes in.
Notice how on that that the whole announcement for season 3, Rich isn't in that.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's dead.
Yeah, he died.
I know that, but we still are supposed to see his twin, right?
Well,
Listen,
we don't know that.
We keep putting this into existence, but it's just like he said both times he was here. He's like, if the shit happens, I'm all for it. But until then, I'm keeping it moving to do whatever.
Yeah, he's working on his Western.
Well, we don't even know about the rest of the cast. Like, someone asked Justin Lin if everyone was going to be back. He said potentially but we don't know. We don't sign any contracts. Maybe Sophie doesn't back. Who knows?
Come back and not tell anyone that he's both.
Leary has to have another love affair. No, I'm kidding. But you don't
Becca's
actually.
just hating on Sophie.
Her sister in
Oh, right.
who knows if she's going to appear in season 3? Maybe she's back on season 4.
She was in that little clip.
She's in that clip, yeah. She's in that montage, so.
Yeah, I'll share my opinions on that character when we get to it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Because season two, shit changes, and it changes for the better. This season 1 is fucking dope. Season 2 is The Empire Strikes Back. Just saying.
Yep.
Everything ramps up.
Yeah.
I just tell people to be prepared to rewind, replay, because you need to see the episodes again and again.
And if you're a fight fan, a UFC fan, Michael Bisping's in this season.
Yeah.
You're gonna see Michael Bisping fight Andrew Koji this season. I'm just saying. It'll be bala.
It's a good fight.
It is.
Michael Bisping has a lot of great fights in this episode. That episode.
That is true.
We're gonna leave it at that. Guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. I feel like we've made our own little Tong family here. You guys have been great. Not only do we do the show, but we talk almost every day in our group chat. So I mean, like, for real, like I do honestly feel like you guys are my family, and this has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to season 2 and what we've got coming. Honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun. Any parting words? I'll start off with our mama bear, Steph.
Zeus, thank you, because I don't think I ever would have thought to join a show like this. Obviously, I'm the next step down from Warrior Max Geek as far as my geek mode. So sometimes I just need the material. You tell me where to be and I'll be there. And so the fact that you rallied us together is just awesome. So you're using so many of the skills and connections that you have. Everybody has something to bring to the show. So I absolutely feel like it's a new family, but it's a Tong. So yeah. So the fact that it's a Tong is totally different. It's totally different. And the little girl who used to walk through Chinatown just geeks out some more. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Steph. We'll keep the circle going. Frankie, what you got any parting words for season 1?
Yes, as far as the show goes, it's like at this point everything's kind of set, right? Like Assam has more or less officially established his alliance with Atoy, and Atoy has shown she's able to do a lot of things between the lines beyond what a normal person in Chinatown that time was able to do. So I think it's time for what's to come there. And we see the villains in place to do what they do. Buckley's there behind the scenes. Lear is there in the streets, pushing, being violent himself and leading people to be violent, but with a cause that he feels is just. The leaders of the Tongs are in place, and Zing is such a chaotic element right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Her own place as the new queen of the Longvi.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the characters fully fleshed out, I think. So it's also funny, like in that last shot is Assam walking in the front, not Young Jun. And the first shot of them walking as a Tong is Young Jun walking in the
right.
Yep, I noticed that. Yep.
It's Assam walking in front. So that was a pretty clear communication. As for where we are, it's I just enjoy hanging out with you guys. I enjoy the funny messages that we leave each other in the chat. I'm looking forward to what it's going to lead. I'm looking forward to, I think about like, man, what if we're just all in one studio one day, or all in one location one day, and we're able to have the bottles while we're talking about Warrior. So
let me put out two shout out or two suggestions here for that. One show we definitely do in Hawaii because it's fucking Hawaii and Steph's our hookup. And two, I live right outside Niagara Falls, Ontario. Y'all come here and we do the show, either by the falls or we go hit the casinos and we just I'll have a million places for us to do it around here. But I think the falls is a great backdrop.
Are you coming to Brazil?
Or we go to Brazil.
Yes. Listen, I will travel. Like I made it. Well, Hawaii is second home. I'm actually back in Boston now. So, I mean, I'll definitely be going back, but I already I said to Rebecca, I need to visit Brazil. I've only been there once. I'll go.
I want to play with the capoeira guys.
Yeah.
I just want to watch.
Listen, I am the mama bear. I'll hurt myself. You guys keep thinking I'm scary, but I'll hurt myself.
Well, watch me be the one to take a kick in the jaw. You guys know, but yeah, Brian, when that time I took a kick in the jaw in Brazil?
Could happen. Rebecca, any final thoughts on this first season?
Water has been world changing for me. I have learned lots of things that I didn't know about the Chinese experience. I have met so many good people like you and Amy, Karen, other people from Facebook group. It has become kind of a family to me. I don't know. I never been in love with a series like this before. I think the first time I really became a real geek. And I'm very thankful for everything that have happened and for this show, for this representation, for become a flag for stop Asian hate, and to bring the importance of this history, this Chinese experience that happened and many people don't know. I mean, most of people in the United States didn't know about this history. Me in Brazil, even less. But such an important show that has to go on, and I'm very happy that Shannon was able to do it, to produce it, and so I'm just thankful, and I think everyone should watch because it's a great show. It's very entertaining. It's very good acting, good fight scenes. And also I became obsessed by stunts job. Brad Chen's like an idol to me now. And all those stunts, they are like, acrobats. They're amazing. So that's it. I don't know. It's a whole new world for me. Warrior brought lots of new things for me. So I'm just thankful.
And we're thankful for you, our producer. And now to Money Matt Chua. Matt Chua America.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this first season that we did here of the show and our Hop This Way show?
It's funny because this show was not on my radar until my brother had told me that Warrior, this show was on HBO Max, and that we should binge it together and see how this goes, and and this be our Asian Black Panther. So fuck it. So we decided. So we ran through it, probably the quickest I think we've ever ran through a show, and I didn't expect to see what I saw, and for it to be like solidified as probably like top 5, maybe top 3 shows of all time, at least personally from my viewing pleasure, is insane. And just to have that that representation finally there as like, you know, it's comparable to none. You know, it took this, like, it sucks that it took this long, but I'm happy that it took this long and that it was done so well and with such, you know, with such respect. And with this show, the Hop This Way show, like I said, man, I came on as just to be happy to be on a guest, and then to be part of 5 co-hosts now, 4 of now. I don't use the term friend often, but to actually have like 4 new friends, and you know, we've never hung out minus like here on the show, and obviously we have our fun little fuckery that we have on our group chat. But you know, it's nice. You know, it's something that I'd say is one of the great things that the pandemic created. It created this, and what everybody gets to hear or watch or however they're ingesting this show. But it's nice, and the fact that we've been all brought together to talk about a show that we all love, and you know, the fact that we have, you know, common interests beyond this show that we get to really just deep dive and fuck around with and do all some cool shit. You know, it's different, man. It's truly different. I don't think if it wasn't for all the bullshit of 2020 happening, I don't think this would have happened. So again, one of the few things from 2020 that I can say, like, I'm glad this popped off.
Absolutely.
What about you, Zeus?
I started it all off. I started off saying how much I appreciate all you and how you're all my my Tong family here. And yeah, this show, you know, I'm not Asian, but just the fact that so many fellow fans of this show that are Asian have embraced me in this show that we do here, the Hop This Way show. It means a lot because it doesn't get lost on me, the parallels that both races have gone through in North America.
Yeah. And that's the stuff I go on and on about.
And that's just it. You know, I think the conversation is very important to have. I think more diversity getting into things like this is better. So the more white people, the more Portuguese, the more Cuban, the more whatever, all getting into this Asian show, showing solidarity is going to be the best way to get, you know, that true diversity. Is listen, just watch everybody, watch what everybody has to show. Watch the shows that are created by the people for their people, and then you get to realize, you know, what you get an inside look onto what they're really like, and not to what we've been told what they've been like from, you know, stereotypical shit we've seen in media, movie, TV shows. We get to see the real thing, or at least we get to see, you know, the interpretation from the people from that medium. So I love it. I want to see more of that. I love that I see so many different races nowadays gravitate to Black shows, you know, and try to identify with us and some of the places that we've gone through. And if we all do that for each other, I think, you know I'm the Mary Poppins or the Pollyanna of the group, but it really does. You know, I think it'll make the world a little bit of a better place to be. And
well, this just shows that the world is smaller.
No, I'm just kidding.
This just shows that the world is getting smaller. You know, just like Matt said, this never would have happened, and it brought all of us together. I learned things from each one of you, and I'm the old chick, okay? So I really do appreciate it. And, you know, I gabbed your ears off the first episode about the whole topic about representation and what that meant to me. And, you know, I could go on for days, but, and I've been emotional quite a few times, and that's what the show does. And I'll keep screaming at the top of my lungs, but it has already shown that this show has brought people together. So we need more of this. We do.
Definitely. Folks,
we here, bitches.
We are here. This has been a shit ton of fun. Yes, that is a Canadian saying, or at least it's one that I'm making a Canadian saying now. Folks, if you enjoyed the first season, don't worry. We will be back for a season 2 starting soon. We're going to get our intro all done and see what the future holds with COVID. If it opens things up a little bit more for us, we'll see. But don't go away. Just keep an ear to the ground. We will be coming back to you. Maybe we'll make a little Facebook page or group so you guys can give us ideas for what we can talk about each week if we're not talking about the show. And yeah, man, this is
shout outs to the viewers. Shout outs to our audience.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Shout outs to our fucking audience who tune in.
You guys are fantabulous. We love you. We love the interaction. And yeah, we will have more for you coming soon. So guys, go out, watch Warriors Season 1, Season 2. Get your ass ready for Season 3 because it's coming. And
we got renewed for Season 3 too because
yeah, that means we're back.
Right. So from our tongue to your tongue, we're wishing you all the best, and thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Hop This Way Show.
To America! Welcome to the Tong, where our loyalty lies only with Warrior, and they will scrap only if I give them the order. And you feeling itchy, you got something to say? Just know we hop this way. Nobody else is suited for this other than us. I know it's crazy, but we work with it and don't give up. Welcome to the show. If you don't know the name, we call